Good morning and welcome to Mornings with Mary. Today we're going to talk about anxiety. And my kids have often said their anxiety makes them feel grayed out and unable to focus. And I thought, wow, this filter does just that. So that is why we are starting this video with this filter, because they say this is what their anxiety does to them. So I want to, first of all, thank you. If this is your first time here, welcome. Make sure you make a comment below and let me know where you're from. If it's not your first time here, welcome back and good morning. So this morning, I was thinking about all of this. I've had so many people ask me about anxiety. You know, I've written From Stress to Best, which is tips and hints for tweens and teens dealing with anxiety and depression, and how self-led learning helps that and how it can really get that under control. And I have people all the time, how do you deal with anxiety? I have to be honest, my anxiety is only situational. So the only times I've had really debilitating, crippling anxiety was in school, because of what happened there and all the bullying, etc. In my past marriage where he was extremely abusive, and so when I had to face him, good morning, when I had to face him in court, of course I'd have anxiety and panic attacks. And the other time that anxiety affects me is when something is so out of my control that I can't fix it, such as when Elizabeth was cutting or was self-harming. Things like that cause me anxiety, but I don't live with an anxiety disorder. Unlike my children, who live with anxiety disorders. And that's a completely different ballgame. So when you live with an anxiety disorder, it's not just situational. It is an everyday undercurrent of this fear. And I watch it every day with my girls. I watch the anxiety stop them from being able to have a social life, stop them from being able to hold jobs, stop them from taking risks. And it's really heartbreaking. The other night, I'm looking this tired. I had to put my coffee down because I haven't slept a full night's sleep in almost 10 weeks now, or in 10 days. Now, at almost 46, that's a long time. At 26, when I had Elizabeth, it wasn't a long time. I could go days. But now at 46, it's a long time. So, because their anxiety has been so high. And yes, we brought in a new puppy. That's all well and great. But that's not what their anxiety is about. Sarah the other night had an anxiety attack until midnight. Yeah. Till midnight. It was really, really hard. And she didn't know what she was scared about. And I think those are the worst ones. Good morning. The worst panic attacks that I witness on my children are those that they don't know why they're having the panic attack. So it doesn't really help to be able to try to communicate with them and say, okay, so let's see what it is. Can we break it down? Can we make it more manageable? If they can identify what it is that they are having anxiety about, that they're frightened about, to me, those are easier, because then we can sort of list it out and put it on paper or put it on a whiteboard and say, okay, what are your fears? And then we list out the fears. Great. Some of them are completely irrational, and they can sort of look at them and be like, oh yeah, that makes no sense. And some of them are rational, and then we can work on ways to maybe prepare for that. Because anxiety means you're not living in the present, you're living in the future. Things that haven't happened yet. And I don't know about you, but I do that sometimes, right? Do you do that? If so, give me a thumbs up, because I know we all do that. But it's when you live in the future that hasn't happened that causes all of this anxiety. So I want to tell you a couple things that I do that help bring it down for the girls. Good morning, Terry. Yeah, you totally have to acknowledge the fear. It is so important. And to just be like, oh, get over it. That doesn't work. They can't get over it. I've literally had to go pick Elizabeth up from work because she was passing out from having anxiety attacks. And it wasn't really a high-stress job, but it was for her, okay? So some things that we do that help out is a friend of mine years ago told me about megahertz. Well, I had no idea I know what a megahertz is, but not that there were specific megahertz for specific things that actually will retrain the brain and rewire it. Now, I am not a doctor. If you do not know if you have a panic disorder or if your child is suffering from a panic disorder, you need to see a professional. Hands down, you need to see a psychiatrist. You need to ask for there's this swab that they can take inside their mouth to make sure that's the right medication for them. But if you just want some ideas and tips on how to handle it, that's what I'm here for. They may or may not work for you, but I'm going to give you a slew. So if you like them, get a pen and paper, take it down on your phone, whatever works for you. So I'm going to run through a few of them right now. Number 1, the megahertz, number 528. You can find it on YouTube. And you can just put that on and put some headphones on if there's no one else around, or if it's you and your child, just leave it open if they're having the panic attack. I know I did this with Sarah the other night, and it starts to rewire the brain. Now, it didn't work as well for Sarah the other night because she talked through the whole thing. When Sarah gets anxious, she talks nonstop. And she has panic attacks and her arms flap and she's crying and she's angry and she's frightened. And some of the time, I just had to lay next to her. Be like, okay, it's all right. We had to have the lights on. She was afraid of the dark. And talk about what it was that she thought that she feared. And she had no idea. And so it turns out she was afraid of the puppy. She's 18 months old and she'd had a traumatic experience. She'd been slit from ear to ear on Valentine's Day, so she was having some PTSD. I'd have PTSD if my throat was slit. Wouldn't you? I would. So we ended up putting her on some meds, and that's calmed her down tremendously. But Sarah was so afraid that the dog was going to hurt our other dog. But it took time to get there. And sometimes you really just have to, believe it or not, wait them out. And if it's your child that's having the panic attack, you have to find what works best for them. For Elizabeth, it's weighted blankets. We have a friend who donated one to us, and that was probably one of the best gifts. So, Zuli, if you're watching this, thank you. We still use it all the time. And we put that on her. We sort of make her a nest. So, Sarah is, good morning. You're welcome for talking about this. Please ask any questions you want because I've been living with this for years. Elizabeth's going to be 20. And as I said, my panic attacks have only been circumstantial. So, I don't live in a state of constant panic. I think if all three of us did, we'd all be totally screwed. But I have experienced it to the point where I can't breathe, where I thought I was dying, where I was so petrified that I couldn't move. That's actually how I found Elizabeth at age 12. I found her shoved in a corner between her bed and the wall, terrified to move, to come out. That's how bad her panic had gotten, because I didn't want to admit it. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to think it was a real problem. I just thought she was nervous. She was my nervous Nellie, right? And she could just deal with it, and as long as we, put her in a calm situation, it would be fine. No. My sweet girl has 6 severe anxiety disorders. And you know what? So does her little sister. It's just what it is. Medication helps Elizabeth tremendously. Sarah has chosen not to go on it. She chooses to handle it more naturally. That's where she is right now. Puberty hasn't hit yet. She's going to be 11 in April. It's starting to ramp up, so I'm watching the anxiety move up. But we've already talked with Elizabeth's psychiatrist and gotten a baseline for Sarah so that if she needs it, we know where we're starting from. Okay? The biggest advice that Elizabeth gave me was, Mom, don't let it go that far. Don't let it go as far as you let it go with me. Yeah, talk about feeling like crap. Hello, that's what I did. I felt like crap. So anyway, other things that help. So we have the megahertz on YouTube, because that's great, because no matter where you are, chances are you have your phone, you have either Wi-Fi or cellular, and if you can learn to keep a pair of headphones in your purse, that's a great thing. Another thing that help are essential oils. I happen to be a certified essential oil person because of Elizabeth. I thought it was all woo-woo and craziness, but we went to a friend's house who happened to be an essential oil distributor, and she was having a massive, massive panic attack. And she whipped out some oils and put them on Elizabeth, and you know what? Within 5 minutes, she was like, oh, yeah, that was really good. So I went through and got certified. I'm not here to discuss essential oils. If you have questions about them, leave them below, because I don't want to get off topic, because essential oils can blow up into like this huge conversation, and they are awesome. We use them for so many things. But if you are looking for some that help, I'll give you just a couple right now. Frankincense is great. Put a drop on your thumb, put it on the roof of your mouth. It goes straight up to the brain. It actually goes through that brain-blood barrier, which is great. Melissa is fabulous. It's also uber expensive. And you have to make sure all of these are not Walmart quality, all right? I mean, if you're going to buy an essential oil, you need to buy something that's pure. Do not buy Walmart. Do not buy Target. If you want to go with Young Living or doTERRA because you have friends that are reps, that's great. Do your research first so that you know what you're buying and how they're processed. That's really important if you're going to put it in your body. Do not ever take an essential oil without a carrier oil. It can burn your skin. If you take peppermint, you know what's really cool? 1 drop of peppermint can stop your hiccups like that. But if you don't put it in something, guess what? You can burn a hole through your stomach because peppermint is so strong. 1 drop of doTERRA oil is equal to 25 cups of, good morning, Sarah, 25 cups of peppermint tea. What would happen to your stomach if you drank 25 cups of peppermint tea? Don't do that, all right? So the 528 megahertz, find that on YouTube. You can listen to that for anxiety. I know Sarah sometimes suffers with that. She shared that with me. Put on your headphones, honey. Stick it on your phone and walk around the house. You'll be fine. It's awesome. You've got frankincense oil, you've got Melissa, cedar wood, cinnamon oil, lavender. We happen to be allergic to lavender, so we don't use lavender. Eucalyptus. So there are ones that you can find that'll help bring it down. One of the things that we find that works really, really well with panic attacks and disorders, believe it or not, is pressure. So I started to mention the weighted blanket before. We also have a really, really heavy leather jacket because sometimes both girls are having panic attacks at the same exact time. And one little blanket is not going to work for two girls. It's just not. So we have a really heavy weighted leather jacket. Elizabeth will wear that when it's weather appropriate here in North Carolina when she has to go into a new social situation. She has also found wearing corsets help her. It's like a hug. She says it gives her that pressure, which is really interesting to me because Elizabeth is a sensory avoider, not a sensory seeker. And yet that's what she seeks when she is suffering from anxiety. So when she has anxiety, she also wears those body shapers. I think they're called girdles. I'm not sure. Maybe they're called body shapers now. I'm not sure. But whatever they are, they slim you up. But she says that pressure brings down her anxiety. It's sort of like a thunder shirt for dogs, for people. It works really well. So we know with Elizabeth, if she's going into a high anxiety situation, if she's having a day where she woke up really anxious, it's, did you put your body shaper on? Where are the weighted blankets? What oils have you used today? And are they on you? That's a really big thing too. You need to keep some oils on you because that way if you need them, they're right there. You don't have to go around the store trying to find them. And the 528 megahertz works wonders for us. As a parent, when you have a panic attack, you need to be able to, I know when I went through them, be able to give yourself some time and some space. And I know that they used to make Elizabeth really nervous or Sarah really nervous because then mommy's nervous and they pick up on our energy, right? So what worked for me, and it may not work for you, what worked for me was having a bubble bath in the dark with candles, with a cup of tea, and a good book. And Elizabeth was like 2 or 3 years old when I went through this. And so I'd have to wait till she went to bed. Good morning, honey. And so I would have my bath. I would love, Liza, if you could please give some tips about how you handle your anxiety, because that's what we're talking about this morning. So Sarah says, I never thought of that. I am not sure it would help you personally, heavier squeezing clothing. You never know if you try it, I'm not talking a squeezing bra, because we all know that's totally uncomfortable. But that whole body, Elizabeth says that it really helps to have those body shapers or a corset or a heavy blanket or a heavy jacket. She said, I hate bubble baths, but that's just me. Of course yes, because you had things that happened in a bubble bath. That's my thing. It doesn't have to be your thing. You need to find something that works best for you. Where is your calm place? We've been to enough therapists, etc., and they're like, oh, well, find your happy place and visit that. I'm sorry, when you're in the middle of a panic attack, I've watched my kids. There's no freaking way you're going to your happy place when you can't breathe. Can we, stop the bullshit? Because it ain't happening. You are, in the midst of this dark, red, black hell that's eating you from all sides, and you don't, good morning, Becky, and you don't know where to escape the freaking hell of panic, and it's coming at you like this, okay? Oh, you find it in my arms? I cry, but I love holding you, that I make you feel safe, Liza. Thank you. But am I describing it correctly? Am I totally saying this is what it's like when anxiety hits? Because that's what I see. There is no happy place. So you can't be like, oh, I'm sitting on a beach and I'm envisioning the sunrise and the seagulls are coming and I've got a drink in my hand. No, bitch, you don't. You're drowning in the ocean. Okay, can we just stop the bullshit? You are freaking drowning and people are saying, you'll be okay, let me pat you on the head. Oh, you know what? If you just get exposed to this more, you're going to deal with it better. Yeah, we tried that, did we not, Liz? We tried that. We tried that whole let me put you in school thing because exposure is going to undo it. It's going to, what's the word they use? It's like you're drowning. That the exposure is going to lessen it. Okay, so if that exposure is what's giving you the panic attack, how are you going to do that? How's it going to get less? Okay, so Becky says, my son has to have me talk him through his panic attacks. Yes, and one of the things with Elizabeth that I didn't learn for 15 years, talk about one pissed off mama, was how to walk someone through their panic attack, and their flashbacks. So if you have panic attacks due to flashbacks, it's more how do you help yourself and your child ride it out. Oh, yeah, you have to find their key. It's like they're a locked box, like a big Pandora box. And the key changes every day. Every day. In every moment of every day. There is no one solution. There is no, oh, I've got the key to this. Like, I know how to get you out of this. No, you don't. You have to have like a necklace of proverbial keys. And you have to try every single one as fast as possible to try to help them learn how to ride it out. Now, there are pressure points. There are things. Therapy has lots and lots of therapy to figure it all out. Oh, yes, we've been to lots of that too. What if they won't talk about the what? Because they don't know the what. Maybe it just is. Like for me, sometimes that's the hardest thing to accept, that it just is. There is no what sometimes. And I know Liz can talk about this probably better than I can, because mine always has a what. It's just me. I have a what and a why. That's because I don't have a disorder. Mine is circumstantial. Elizabeth, kick in here, because I could really use your help with this. You were great with Sarah the other night when you were like, Mom, sometimes there is no what. It just is. That it's just what it is. And that's what the panic is about, is that you can't find out what it is. And that it's all consuming, and that it's all there. And you don't know what to do, and all you know is you're drowning. And I've found if the lifeguard tries to undrown them, like save them, it can actually make it worse. And it makes me feel really helpless. And so I've found that we have to use oils, that we have to use different frequencies, we have to use music and touch. There's something called EFT, which is emotional freedom therapy. I think that's what it stands for. Memory serves right. Otherwise known as tapping. And I thought that was also really woo-woo and like really crazy, because why would tapping on my chest, thinking about it, talking about it, and then tapping on my forehead and tapping here would help? I thought it was all bullshit. I'm like, okay, I'm going to tap away, blah, blah, blah. But it really did work. It really, really worked. And it actually helped me through some of the worst flashbacks I have. Do I have a guest speaker? I have a guest speaker this morning. I love
no
this.
Makeup on.
Oh, women don't care if you have makeup on.
I care.
Well, don't care. Okay, hold on. Hold the camera. I have to move the chair.
I'm holding it.
Okay. Yeah, at least, okay, this is...
Mom, just leave the chair.
Oh, just leave the chair. We have room?
Yeah.
All right.
Just.
All right,
stand
come.
up against her.
Just come talk, girly girl.
Hi.
Come this way.
Come
You
this
now
way.
have the expert. I am the mom, all right? We both know that, obviously. She is not me.
No.
I can only say from the outside and what I do, but she's going to tell you the inside. It's all yours. New makeup and PJs. Girl, same here. She has on Pokemon.
Trying to
Gotta
lift
love
my
it.
leg.
All right, so for those of us who don't live with it but observe it,
Mm-hmm.
you got to put on your pretty face. Yeah. Can you give us what it's like on the inside? Did I describe it okay? I think I only got the surface.
Yeah, you described it pretty well. It's like you're drowning, and you could show them the painting I did.
Go, yes, go take the phone and do that.
That's a great
Description?
This is a great way to describe. How do you feel? Okay, like this. So I painted this when I was really suffering with my depression and anxiety, and it's like you're drowning in like this muddy water and you can't get out, and yet all of these people are saying, yes, you can get out, just go to your happy place, it's okay. But it's really not okay. But I painted this because this is my hand, and this is my mom's trying to reach for me and grab me out of it.
But notice they don't touch.
Nope.
They're so close, but they don't touch.
Yep.
And this is the part where mommy's heartbreak happens.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't fix it.
Nope.
Oh, now you make me cry.
I make her cry.
You do. You do. So what do we need to know what it's like being in it, and what helps? See, now crying mommy. What helps get you out? How do you take that? Oh God. Okay. How do you take that part that is drowning? What helps move you out of that? We don't need to look at our profiles or crying, Mommy.
Yes, we do.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
we do.
How can we help you when you're like that? Because it's so heartbreaking. Because I can't fix it. I just have to watch it.
That's sort of a tricky question.
I'm good at those.
I think it's different for every person and every child, adult. I think we all handle it differently. But for me, what really helps is, wait, are we talking about flashback panic attacks or just panic attacks?
Whatever you want. If they're different, clarify.
Panic attacks are different than flashback panic attacks. Because flashback panic attacks, it's like you're stuck in that situation again, and it's like Pandora's box. You can't get out.
But those I can walk you out of.
Yeah, but
Those...
she didn't always know how to walk me out of it.
No, I was so pissed. No one... In all those therapy sessions for 15 years, no one taught me that I could walk her out of it. I was pissed. Like, when I finally found out, it changed our lives.
Yeah.
It completely... Here, be little screen, little phone. It completely changed our lives because I could then say, Liz, can you hear me? What are you seeing? Where are you? And we would actually rewrite what was happening.
Yep.
And I would be able to say, no, he's outside the door. He's not in here. I'm in here with baby Lizzie. And baby Lizzie is safe. And she'd be like, no, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. You know, he's going to come in through the window. I'm like, no. So then I knew there was a window, right? I'm like, we're going to go out through the window. And I have you and you're safe. And we're going to lock that window. And we're going to lock the front door. And we're going to call the police. And so I was able to create a new situation for her and create a new reality in her mind. Okay, how do you walk someone through? You basically, when there's a flashback, at least my flashbacks for my PTSD, and correct me if this happens to you or not, if it doesn't, I sort of see it's like living a split screen life. I know I'm here, but I'm there. Okay, and so when that happens for me, and it hasn't happened for a long time, which is great. It's really a matter of someone else. I know that they're there. I can say, okay, tell me 5 things that you can hear. And they can still tell me, I hear music, I hear birds, I hear this, I hear that. But that other part of them, that other part of their brain is stuck in that altered reality. Okay? Good morning, Carolyn. And so when you're stuck in that altered reality, someone still has the ability to get to you. So Becky says, we do that with situations here. We talk through what it's now and what's happening now. Yes. But when you're in that flashback, I'm able to then go into her memory because she can still talk to me. And she can...
It's like my body
is here.
My mind, half of my mind is there, but half of my mind is in the flashback.
Right.
It's very confusing.
And so I'm like, okay, so tell me what you see. And she'll say, well, I see a bathroom. Okay, tell me what's in the bathroom. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what you hear. And so she'll say, well, I hear Father outside the door, and he's screaming, and he's banging on the door, and he's touching me, or he's hurting me. Good morning. And so then I'm able to say, but I'm right here. I'm right. No, you're not. Yes, I am. Can you see me? Tell me what I'm wearing. Tell me what we're doing. You know, and so I'm able to pull her through.
Basically,
and
you
find
want to focus on what
was,
but what you wish would have been.
Right. And so you rewrite it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's the flashback panic attack. To me, this is going to sound dreadful, but those are easier because I have something I can physically do.
Yeah.
And it has an answer. And we can walk through it, and we get through the hell together, and then when you come out, you pass out, and you wake up, and I hold you, and we can deal with that.
Yeah.
But just sitting here is back in the actual situation. Yes, in band, being told he messed up the test for the whole class, etc. Yeah, exactly. So it's like part of them is there. I know when I was being told a year ago or 2 years ago, I had to go to court to go face my ex, and I was living the split screen reality. And so it's sort of like Elizabeth's face right now, split screen. Split screen, and then back together. So she would help actually walk me through some of mine. Okay, but let's talk about panic attacks that are not situational. So you totally get that. Yeah, it's my ex-husband's name, if you don't know this, is OJ, and he like lives up to the reputation of Mr. Simpson. Only difference is I'm not a blonde, I'm a redhead. I got my ass out of there and took my kid. I didn't move around the block. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about the drowning ones, because those are completely different than those that have a situation.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the red murky ones.
That one I would say is more difficult because you don't always know what the what is or why you're having a panic attack.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just can come over you, and it's just like you're fine 1 second, and then the next you are hyperventilating or not breathing at all.
Yeah. I envision like a tsunami, like an emotional tsunami, where you watch, like as a parent, I know most of the time I can tell when it's coming because the tide's going really, really far out. Like the face changes, the body language changes, and I'm watching the tide come out, and then boom, it gets her. Just like that. Now sometimes I can't predict it. Sometimes, like she said, it just comes. It's like this wave that just got her.
Yep.
But usually, for both my girls, they have social anxiety. So usually it's something around something that has to do with being social. It has to do with either that or they both have separation anxiety. You've gotten much better at that. It sort of switched from me to Harrison. But it's still there, but it's much, much better. Where Sarah is going to be 11 and still can't fall asleep without me in bed with her. Yeah. It's kind of crazy sometimes. But those are the ones I find that are really hard because I can't walk you out of those. I can't talk you out of those, and you don't know the what or the why.
Yep.
It just
then
is.
You just kind of have to just...
Hey, Regina.
I don't know. I think it's different for every person.
Yeah.
For me, when I am having just a random... Well, it's not really random.
It feels random.
It does feel random because you don't know what that what or why is.
Right. I know we go over, well, what did you eat? Because we know she has triggers of dairy, of sugar, of gluten, what other things? I think those are your 3 big triggers, aren't they?
Yep.
We go over, what do you need oils? Did you take your meds today? What are you fearful of? What do you have coming up? What's going on up here?
What did you hear me say?
Yeah, that's a big one. What did you hear me say? Because when she starts going down that road, she doesn't hear what I'm saying. It's like...
It goes through this filter.
Hello, lovely.
And then it gets mumble jumbled.
It's a distorted
filter,
filter, too.
Filter.
Yeah.
It's not a good filter.
No. I mean, I'll be talking just like this, and she would be accusing me of screaming at her.
And yelling.
Yeah. And like losing my temper, and I am not screaming. Am I screaming? No. So it's a lot of times, like the other day, she's like, Mom, why do you keep asking me, well, what did you hear me say? This is what I heard you say. I'm like, because I know she's skirting between here and anxiety land. Here and anxiety land. Yeah. So what did you hear me say? Because sometimes what I'm saying and what she's hearing
are two different
things. Yeah. That's probably the phrase that irritates her the most. Yeah. But it gives me an insight as to where you are.
It only irritates me because you use it like every single conversation whenever I'm in an anxiety attack.
I wonder why. So what else do people need to know about that drowning? Like what helps you? It may not help them.
Right.
But it's a place to start. Like we found, I don't know if you found tapping helping. I found it helped with specific memories.
I honestly haven't tried tapping enough to say that it works or doesn't work.
Okay, fair enough. I love that. Only because the irony of that is her boyfriend's father is an EFT specialist. So she has that at her fingertips all the time.
Literally,
yeah. So what else helps?
Oils.
Yeah.
The right oils.
Yeah, which ones work best for you?
doTERRA Balance and that mixed stuff that you made for...
My magic mix?
Yeah. I don't
Mommy's
know
magic mix.
There.
I wrote it down. I don't remember. So Sharon says, my son is 10, almost 11. He has a hard time verbalizing what he is feeling. Don't we all sometimes? Yeah. Can he draw it? Can he model it? Mine are 6 and the same. Yeah. Okay, so oftentimes children do not have the ability to verbalize it. The words aren't there, the emotions aren't there, the insight isn't there.
Because they haven't felt it before sometimes.
Right. Sometimes that's the scary part. Okay? What other modality can they use that you have available and that they will accept to express their emotion? Because communication isn't just words. It's body language. Maybe they need to dance really angry, or they need to draw, or they need to model and shape things, or they need to throw things, or punch pillows. Look at that frowny face. There are things that, sometimes they have to work it out first before they can sit down like an adult and have a conversation. Sometimes it just has to come out. And I don't know about you, but I find sometimes that one thing will lead to another, will lead to another, will lead to another. And as we're digging, we finally find it.
Yep.
But the top layer is generally just the bullshit layer. That's like the easy answer. Okay, Sharon says, he has fine motor issues, so he hates drawing. He just withdraws into technology. Okay. So if he's withdrawing into technology, is there a way that maybe the game that he plays?
So that give you some insight on how he's feeling.
Right. Has he changed his demeanor? Let's say he's playing Minecraft. I don't know enough about Minecraft to talk ultra intelligently about this, but I do know you build things. So is he building things and destroying them? Is he building fantasy things? Is he building war things? What is he building that can give you insight about where he is? Music is a big one too. I know for you, music is huge.
Music.
And it can set the mood. Like, she loves Screamo when she's mad. Okay?
It gets my screaming out without me having to scream.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work, but...
But where, for me, that makes me anxious and makes me angry. Like, she can literally, like, feel my I'll, like, flare.
It feels like pine needles.
Yeah.
Just like needles.
And so, for me, I have to listen to things like James Taylor's greatest hits and Go to Carolina in my mind and all that stuff. I have to have mellow. She has to meet rage with rage and fear with rage.
Yeah.
Sort of, you put out the fire by lighting a fire.
Yeah.
I put out the fire by taming the fire.
Yeah.
And for Sarah, it depends on the moment.
Yeah.
Usually Sarah's let me curl up your ass, Mom. That's what helps my anxiety attack. And I have what we call a Sarasite. Unlike a parasite, I have a Sarasite. And that's what makes her feel safe. I'm like her binky. We're working on that. It's not going well. But I'm still, at least she has a safe place.
Yeah.
That's really important. So we've got music, we have oils, we have megahertz, we have communication, we have art. What else when you're drowning?
This doesn't always work for everyone, but silence can help. That doesn't work for me, but it
works for me. Like getting out in nature works for me. Like hearing the birds, knowing what's going on. Okay, Becky says I have one who writes and one who destroys when upset or anxious. Yeah. So you need to then have things that they can destroy. Elizabeth had this book. What was it called? It was like this journal you could destroy.
Wreck This Journal?
Wreck This Journal. Yeah. Did that help you?
Yes. It gave you tasks on how to destroy the journal. Like rip it to shreds, or bring it in the shower, throw it off the roof of a building, or something like that.
I remember pour coffee on it. Or
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so that's...
Put sticky stuff here. So that really helped.
Yeah, it like...
I should get another one of them.
You should. I think you gave it to Sarah because she was using it for a while.
Yeah.
What else? Journaling, if that is their thing. You really have to find what is their expressive modality and what is yours.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know. What would you say mine is? Because I sure as hell cannot cook or bake when I'm upset. Like, those are nights we go out to eat, and we only have two places we can go, Pie Five and Qdoba. If Mom's having a
Pie Five.
Oh, that's right. No, they're gone. They're out of business now. Five Guys and Qdoba. That's it. That's the only two safe places. So as a mom, being able to deal with their panic attacks, it's exhausting. I have to be honest. It sucks the life out of me. And sometimes it really... Good morning, Taylor. It really makes me irritated. Like, it gets on my last nerves because here they are having all these panic attacks and there's nothing I can do to fix it. And I get frustrated. Where you going? Come back here, girl.
Thank you.
And so it's just really a matter of how can I take myself out of the situation and not make it about me? Because it's their panic attack. And good morning. And so sometimes it can trip one off inside of me. That I can't fix it, that I'm not good enough, that here I am unable to fix my child. And then that gets into a whole other mom anxiety, right? Like, not only are we dealing with their anxiety, now we're dealing with, oh my God, I'm a failure because I can't fix them. Well, last I looked, I'm not God, okay? At all. Like, I can't fix it. Sometimes I want to fix it, but I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, I wait, roll back. I always want to be able to fix it. Not sometimes, always. But I can't. And then I run down this road of mom guilt and mom anxiety, and I'm failing. And that does not help the situation, ladies. Like, it's not about you at that moment. Exactly, it's not about me at that moment. And so I have to stop and say, okay, boop, take myself out. Like, deal with you later, woman. You're like over here. Now you have to be right here. And so that's when we have to work out. Yes, you get the snowball effect. And I have to, honestly, we've talked about this before. You've got the stimulus and the response, and this is where you choose your attitude. This is where I choose my attitude to take myself out and deal with just them. So Terry says, and it's hard to fake it for them when trying to fix it for them. Yeah. Here's the key. You ready for this key? You can't fix it. You can't. You want to? You cannot.
Yeah.
I can't fix her. She can't fix me. I can't fix Sarah. I can't fix any of you on the other side of the screen. Know who I can fix?
You.
Me. And so being able to help your child find the resources that work best for them, because if they're 6, if they're 8, if they're 10, they may not have that verbalization. Even if they're 19, they may not have that verbalization. Yeah. But give them some skill sets. Say, try different things. Do oils work? If they don't work for them, maybe they work for you. You're part of this equation too. What are they eating? Keep a journal. We know many people that dyes set them right off. Okay? So sort of keep like an inventory journal, whether it's on your phone or in an actual journal. Track things. Also, track like when in the month they're happening for about 3 months. It sounds exhausting, but my God, it helps so much. Believe it or not, boys actually have cycles. They just don't have cycles the same way as girls. Okay, that will be our project, finding what helps them. Yes. And so if you can find the rhythm of the month, Hila says, we definitely can't fix everything. Listen, learn, allow them to vent, pray, go your own space, or to get together is best sometimes. Yes, eating really is an important ideal. Yes, it is. And so like dyes, oh my gosh, is it blue dye that sends you off the deep end? Or red dye?
Both.
Cray. Like cray. Okay, Sarah is blue, red, and yellow. Let's discuss primary colors. Blue, red, and yellow. Mommy, but this has purple. And what's purple made out of? Red and blue. But it has green. What's green made out of? Yellow and blue. No dyes. Yeah.
I'm going to go check on Roxy.
You can go check on Roxy. Okay. So, really being able to figure out what is their trigger. Is it a social situation? If it's a social situation, what can you do? Elizabeth wants to go on a camping trip in 4 months, and she was the other day having a panic attack because she wants to go with her boyfriend and his friends. And she doesn't really know the friends, even though she and Harrison have been together for 3.5 years. So we talked about things, well, what can you do between now and July to bring down your anxiety? What can you bring while you're there? Can you bring your knitting? Can you bring music? Can you bring your writing? Can you bring your photography? And what can you do in that next span of 4 months? Can you have them over for a barbecue? Can you go have coffee? Can you go to a movie together? What control do you have? Because often anxiety comes from not having control, right? And there are going to be things in life you have no control over. There's going to be things in life that shit happens, okay? Caca it gets blown in your face. That's what it does. But how can we take them in that moment of drowning, like that picture that Elizabeth showed you earlier, and help them through? And honestly, it is a discovery process. It is a process of failure and success. It's a matter of digging and finding, of being gentle, of communicating when they can, giving them vocabulary to help them, not in the moment because they can't absorb it, but afterward. And when the panic has died down, I know my girls sleep after a panic attack. I don't know how your children or how you deal with it, but they're sleepers. So they nap, they recharge, they get up, we have something to drink, we have a really good healthful snack. What do you do if they say they want to die during a panic attack? Well, don't you? I mean, I do. My kids, I just want to die. The pain, it's so all-encompassing. You just hold them if they want to be held. Or you sit next to them and you say, this is going to pass. It doesn't feel it right now. Because it doesn't in that moment. It feels all-encompassing. It feels drowning. And we've had to face that. I mean, we've faced suicide attempts with Elizabeth. It was really, really awful. She was 12 and 13 and 14 and 15. We've gone 4 years without one. But it was a lot of work. And it was a lot of, let's sit together. I'm here. I know you're scared, but you're not alone. We're going to work through this together. You're never going to have to face it alone. I'm right here. Because I got to tell you, there are times I watch it for them, and their pain is so huge. And it's so encompassing. I have no doubt they would rather be dead than deal with that. But as adults, we also have that perspective that looking back, we know this is going to end. We know life is going to change. We know things are going to happen that are going to influence whatever it is that they're anxious about. But they just don't have that perspective yet. They haven't been through that yet. They're not old enough yet. And so we just sort of have to sit in quiet observance. Don't try to control it. Don't try to control them. Don't get angry at them. You can get angry at the panic disorder, but not with them, because that then makes them guilty of what they can't control. Take it out. Take yourself out. Take your anger out. While they're having their nap, have a good sob. Punch the heck out of a pillow. Whatever it is that works for you, go journal, go write, go work out. Because you have to be able to also take care of yourself. And when you have children that have those struggles, it's really, really important that you don't forget about you. Because that's one of the easiest things to do. I say, okay, now let's not run away from challenges. Let's breathe, pray, and listen. Exactly. Everyone finds what works best in their family unit. For some people, prayer is the answer. You guys are going to laugh. I don't talk about my faith here. I don't talk about my religion here. But I get up every day and I read the Bible and I say, okay, God, what is it that I need to know today? What is it that I need to learn? Every day, that's the first thing I do. I get up, I let the dogs out, and I hit my Bible. That's it. And today it was, give his praise. I don't remember the exact, I date them in my Bible, right? And it was speak his name and give his praise. So today, that's what I'm here. I'm going to stand here, and I don't normally do this, but I'm going to do it today. I'm going to say, thank you, God, for getting us through this. Because without the glory of God, there is no way we would be here. Okay, Elizabeth attempted suicide more times than I can even count. And it was only the ones that she had an actual plan for and came to us that we knew about. She wrote an article the other day on her blog, and I don't remember the full name of it, okay? I want to call it the Alternative Young Person. I don't know, I'll get that. I'll put it in the comments. Thank you for being so real about this. All other help seems so academic. It is academic, all right? They know a book, all right? But I learned the other day that when she was 12, now I pulled her out of school when she was 12 because she came to me and said she had a plan to kill herself. I read over this blog post that she wrote. I had no idea she'd been trying to suffocate herself rather than go to school at night. I had no idea. That's pretty horrible, all right? When your child suffers like this, you would give anything and everything to stop it. And I know it is only by the grace of God that we are here. And that's why I'm here. And to say, hey, you can work through this. You can work together. You can love each other through this. But it's not going to be easy. There's no easy answer. I can't say, go put on this oil and it's going to get better. And have a cup of peppermint tea and it's going to make it better. And, if you take them out of school and you bring them home, oh, it's going to be better. It's going to be Sound of Music and la, la, la. No, guys. A panic disorder is a panic disorder. That means there is not order. Not. Order. Not. No order. There's no order to it. You got to sit. Pray to whatever God, goddess, whatever your belief system is. Ask for guidance. Ask for insight. And just take every moment as it comes. Because worrying about the next one, it's going to make you anxious. And knowing what was in the past, you can't fix it. You can't undo it. So Sharon says, my son was 7 when he first said he wanted to die because of school. Yeah. I can tell you, I myself, when I was 16, had decided that I would rather die than go back to school because I had this really horrible person who had made my life a living hell. And then I sat down and I thought to myself, that is a permanent problem to a temporary thing. It's like a permanent solution to a temporary problem. What would that do? It would stop my pain because everybody else's. And what if I didn't succeed? Wouldn't that be worse? So instead I graduated a year early. And I later learned that particular person who made my life a living hell went through her own. And I have to admit, I'm not very godly about this. I kind of enjoyed that. I just have to be honest. So my oldest was 5 when he said he wished he was in heaven instead of here. Yeah. This is the part that no one wants to talk about. Everybody wants to get on YouTube and everybody wants to get on Facebook and they want to be so perfectly made up. And let's talk about all the things that you can do to fix it. Well, here's a news flash. You can't fix it. And there are days that your mascara is going to run and you're going to be tired and you're going to be worn out and you're going to feel all alone. And I hope that is the time that you can come here and you can say, I've hit a wall. And we can say, you know what? We've been there. We got you. So Telia says, when my children have panic attacks, I don't know nothing else to do but pray and listen and focus on what the issue is exactly and pray to what you believe and give you comfort. Reading the Bible and prayers is all I know. Let me hit the see all to calm myself down to support my kid. Exactly. So you have to do what works for you. You know, we have tried so many different things. Like I said, we've tried tapping, which for me doesn't help in the moment of the panic attack. Oh, thank you. I'm looking cute today. I took a shower. Yay for showers. So that helped with a specific memory. I was able to drive through Jacksonville, Florida and not have a panic attack and not cry through it. I was actually able, for the first time in 18 years, to share the beach that I walked Elizabeth on after she was born with Rich and show him my life that I had before all of the abuse. So some of you on here don't know my backstory. I'll give you just a little bit. My ex-husband would beat the crap out of me every night for 3.5, 4 years and rape me every night. And he molested Elizabeth when she was little, and I didn't know. I found out after I left, and then he molested her again at age 3 during a visit, and that was the last time he ever saw her. If I don't, we'll both be crying, so that'll be both of us instead of my child, yeah. And so that is where my experience with all this comes from. So Elizabeth and I are survivors of molestation, of domestic violence, and bullying and school bullying. And, you know, I'm going to strip it down raw for you. It was hell. It was hell, all right? So that's where our experience comes from. That's where our PTSD comes from. So tapping for me helped with one of the worst memories of my ex. Oils help on a regular basis. I love them. We use them for everything from GI tracts to panic attacks. We also use the megahertz. We use guided meditation. We use prayer. We use meditation. We use the Reckitt journal. Sarah really likes to mold things, so she'll build things and destroy them. So really find what it is. Find their cycle. Everyone has a hormonal cycle. I don't care whether you are male or female. Your hormones are going to dip into. Track it, people. Track it. Every day, just write a little note, like emotional, not emotional, you know, and keep track of what they eat. I know it sounds crazy, but today, in today's world, our food is messed with. Like, really messed with. It's not like unless you grow it yourself, you have no idea what they're doing with it. I've seen stuff where they put like oxycodone in the vines at night. Crazy stuff, all right? So keep track. Become a detective yourself. Become a detective for your kid and see if you can notice body language or situations that you know are going to trigger it. Because that way you can sort of be prepared, like your own little army person, all right? So I know we've been chit-chatting a lot today. My glasses are on the top of my head because of the glare. Let me see if I can see across the room. Oh, hello, I see you now. Oh, we've been talking for like 45 minutes. It was busy this morning. See, I can't wear my glasses when I'm on here because I can't see the screen unless I do this, because that's the bifocal part. I'm old enough for those. Anyway, so today was all about anxiety. We got into a little bit of mom anxiety. Do you guys have any questions before I sign off and actually have a hot cup of coffee? Because I haven't had one yet. Did I cover enough stuff for you to know and feel confident going forward, saying, hey, maybe I want to look into this. Here are some other options. Let's try this. That didn't work. Are we copacetic? Okay, I'm going to let you think about that for a few seconds. So Tia says, my strengths come from bullying and neglect, abandoned as a 4-year-old. I now realize it's my past. I don't react to it and move on with my present. Yes. Good morning, Mama. Thank you. Yeah. You know, I grew up in a household of abandoned children. I was the only biological. And I've seen the damage that does. And I have met Tila perfectly, and she is amazing and a strong woman. And I have to tell you, every woman that tunes in here every morning has my total respect and regard, because it is so amazing that we are creating this community slowly. So if you know anyone, you give me a hug. We can hug just like this. I think there's an emoji for hugs, isn't there? But pass this on. You know, I don't do any advertising, and I honestly do that on purpose, because I want this to grow holistically and through word of mouth. Okay, it's not that I'm out here doing this for profit. I'm not. This is just a mom-to-mom thing. If you want to go to my website, you are welcome. I have one. It is maryharrington.com, and on there you can pre-order the From Stress to Best book in paperback. It's coming out April 1st. You can do, you know, I have mentoring available, etc., or you can read the blog. It's a great award-winning blog. Yay. Didn't make anything off that, but it's award-winning. Yay. I'm a best-selling author. Yay. But this is really just, let's create a community, because no one's talking about this stuff, ladies. And if you don't help me get the word out that, hey, this is real, Bobby was watching, it says, that's your twin babe. Yeah. But if you don't help get the word out, to other women that, hey, this is real. You can come here. One of these days, I will actually do it in my pajamas. I know I did one a couple days ago, right? I did it without my makeup. I actually put my makeup on in the camera. That was some scary shit. We talked about the cost of covering up. Right? And if you've missed any of these, you can always go on the Facebook page where you're watching this now. On the left-hand side, there's this little tab that says videos. Go there and watch them. It's awesome. I'm rocking it. It's a very long road to discovery. And Regina and I have known each other like 10 years. It's a long road. You're not going to wake up tomorrow morning and know it. But anyway, I'm going to get my coffee in my lovely mug that Elizabeth bought me when she was camping with Harrison. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Now, tomorrow morning, generally Fridays is Ask Me Anything. So, if you have anything, support, we should all do it. Yes, we need to support each other. So hit share or tag a friend, do something, let them know it's here. And leave me some questions for tomorrow, all right? So that way we have something to talk about. And tune in, because it's the same time every morning. We're doing good with the puppies. I'll be here again at 9 o'clock tomorrow. I'll see you then. Have a great one, ladies. Bye-bye.